doesn't stop chemicals like there's a lot of gas in the water, or diesel fuel, or anything made by Montos. For farmers' fields, they spray all that liquid fertilizer and all that stuff, which is not real fertilizer. It's not carbon-based. It does not stop that, but it stops all the little bugs that can get you.
All right, so let's do a little QSO vlog here on this. This might be a lifesaver, come in handy for folks that might, for some reason or another, wind up with less than city water. Might be even a good idea to use it on city water in some cities, if you know what I mean. But we're talking about a product called Life Straw. Is that right, JR?
That's correct, Jim. It's called Life Straw. It's a pale blue cylinder, and the two caps, the mouthpiece and the other end, is a darker blue. But they got a great website. They explain everything. But one of the warnings it tells you is it does not get rid of chemicals. So if you had a big, gasoline, it doesn't get rid of that. It doesn't get rid of diesel fuel. It doesn't get rid of anything that you would spray on your garden. Anything that's not biodegradable, it will not filter that out. That can get right in the molecules of the water. So you gotta have a little working idea of the water you're taking it out of. Like the Ohio River, for example, with all those tugboats and joyriders riding up and down that river from Pittsburgh all the way down to where it runs into the Mississippi River. I wouldn't drink any of that through a live straw, because there's just tons of chemicals transported on that river. But a small river, Floyd's Fork, things like that. Yeah, I'm in an emergency, I wouldn't have a problem using a live straw on that. So sorry about that beeper. I know in Africa, everybody carries one over there. They don't drink no water without that life straw. And life straws even got a thing going on where if for ever so many life straws they sell, they donate so many to missions over there to hand out to the villagers. People still use bow and arrows and spears. Yeah, I'm back. KK4FH.
Roger. So, Bill, have you used a life straw? Do you have one?
I don't, and I definitely need to probably pick a couple up just to have them around. Go along with them pieces and the ammo and the extra food and stuff, just in case.
Roger that. Be prepared. You were a Boy Scout, I think, huh?
No, my friend, I've got a friend over in New Albany, Joe. He is a doomsday prepper, and he's the one that got me interested in doing off-grid solar and all of that down home. And I kind of started looking what's really going on in the world and stuff like. Yeah, he's kind of right. It might be a good idea to have a little bit of extra stuff around on hand.
Roger. Probably, obviously, better to be prepared than not to be prepared for whatever might come along. And obviously, today gets more challenging than yesterday as far as maintaining the peace and tranquility of the country.
what's that? The SEALs always said the only easy day was yesterday.
Well, you know, it will amaze you if you think a little bit. Now, don't go buying everything manufactured, but just, you'd be surprised what $1,000 over, and you know, if you spent $100 a month, it'd take you less than a year to spend it. You'd be surprised what $1,000 worth of stuff would what you will have accumulated for such an event. And you know, you don't miss it. You buy a little bit a month, you don't miss the money, and you got it there. You know, I'm not the least bit worried about doomsday. I don't figure I'll survive doomsday. But, you know, being able to clean up some water, enough to drink. The way I look at it is anything that won't kill the wife is good.
Yeah, I don't know about nuclear war or something like that, but most of your regular disasters, I think you can prepare for enough to mitigate them somewhat. But you get a big nuclear war, full-scale nuclear war, a biological attack or something like that, yeah, you're probably not going to make it. But just normal everyday stuff like ice storms or stuff like that, like we was talking earlier, yeah, you might, being prepared makes that a little more palatable.
Well, I tell you, one nuke in the middle of our country can really mess up your day.
Yeah, that's all it would take.
Wouldn't require a great deal of aiming, you know. I mean, it doesn't matter anywhere. You got about a 3,000-mile discrepancy there that you could be in, and represent a major problem for the country, you know. Maybe more towards the California coast, since the breezes tend to go from west to east, pretty much, you know. But you know, that brings up our little Korean friend there.
Now, and I haven't noticed.
You know, we doubled there, JR. Would you repeat?
I'm sorry. Well, to repeat the whole thing, I'm not really preparing for nuclear anything, or chemical anything. But you know, tornadoes, ice storms, earthquake, financial, something happening up at Wall Street that causes a big glitch, which brought me to another statement. The government hasn't worked for 4 days. You know, it's shut down. I haven't noticed any difference.
We probably have saved a great deal of money.
Well, at least they ain't doing no more damage while they're shut down.
I kind of agree with you on that. I haven't seen where... Maybe we just ought to make Congress and the Senate part-time jobs.
I mean, why couldn't we just say you guys obviously can't function because you've got the country shut down, so we're going to fire all you folks and start with a new batch.
That's exactly the problem right there. There's no easy way to get rid of them until the next election cycle. Then the idiots en masse vote them right back in. There needs to be a mechanism there to remove them for wrongdoing.
Well, it's there. That as old-time union man, I would say the grievance machinery is in place, but they got that figured out. Those Mitch McConnells of the world have got that figured out, how to sidestep that.
And that's the whole problem. There's no bulletproof solution to keep these people in check. I mean, who watches the watchers, you know?
Should be a way to take care of the problem, but I guess if we talked about that, we'd all be in jail.
That's an excellent point.
Yeah, my big thing, I just try to stay out of the way, and whatever they want to bulldoze over, they're going to bulldoze over anyway. I just try to stay out of the way of it.
I think the magic word is impeach.
Yeah, you see how well that works out.
Well, did it work once, didn't it?
Thing is, if me or you does anything like any of them are doing up there in D.C., we'd be under the jailhouse. But they don't see any kind of repercussions for anything they do. I mean, they're so far out of touch with the with the regular people and the policies they make up there that it's just like they don't understand the consequences of what they're doing, or they don't care. One of the two. KK4FIH.
KC9VKV.
W3JRB. I heard one of them guys up there, I'm not sure if it was a congressman or a senator, but they were talking about base pay, starting base pay for a new, just elected, whatever, congressman, senator, was $175,000. Now, everything they do is paid by taxpayers. All they got to basically do is supply themselves with a place to live and the clothes, and that's probably a tax deduction of some sort. But it just can't make it on $175,000. What? What did he just say? Obviously, I homed right in on the television to hear this interview. But yeah, he was complaining that they need more money. They need you can't live on $175,000. I thought I could live on $60,000 just fine.
I could live fat on $175,000 a year. Good God, what are these people doing?
Imagine the radios that would buy.
I was just thinking the same thing. I could have Fat Station and it not hurt my pocketbook a bit with that kind of money.
You wouldn't have to buy it. You wouldn't have to buy it. Yazoo, Kenwood, Icons, what do they call them people? They give you all the radio equipment you wanted in duplicate. What do they call them, Jim? You know who I'm talking about.
Thieves?
That works. You know, people go to Washington and wine and dine them senators and congressmen and try to convince them their way is the best way.
Oh, you're talking about the lobbyists.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, a lot of lobbyists were amateur radio would just flash. You'd have a Yaesu FT 10,000 and have all the test equipment, and you'd have it in duplicate. Lord, you wouldn't have to buy anything.
Yeah, just vote yay on this here bill that's coming up, and we can get you all the radio you need there, Mr. Downs, or yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I'm afraid for us hams, though. I mean, we don't have the power and the glory to attract any sponsorships like that. So we'll just be at the ham fest in the $10 aisle.
$10. Oh, that's extravagant, man. I always look for the free stuff.
I never can find anything free.
Can't either.
Oh, no, though. A couple years ago, I bought, very end of the day at Cave City, I bought a box of stuff for $5, and this is about 3 years ago. I'm still digging stuff out of that $5 box and using it and selling it. Good God. Them's the best deals there, KK4FIH.
KC9VKV. I remember one year at the Louisville Ham Fest. I was sitting there, and this guy had a, I guess it was a Drake TR4C 3-set radio set, you know, the power supply and maybe it was a 2-set. I guess it was a 2-set for TR4C. But he wanted $40 for it, you know. And I was thinking, man, that's it's about $380 radio there, and they you know, their price keeps going up because they become collector's items, you know. And he wants to get rid of it for $40. So I know it's got some kind of problem, you know, but still, $40. And so this guy comes up, you know, and he's talking about it, and he's explaining some of the aspects of the radio to me, you know. And then he says, well, you know, if you want it, go ahead and get it. If you don't, I'm going to get it, you know. And I'm thinking, you know, the last thing I need is an additional 120 pounds of radio in my radio room. And so I just declined, and I guess he went ahead and got it, because probably about 20 minutes later, I'm out on the, you know, out in the parking lot there where all the amateur vendors are, and he's I see that radio, he's selling it for $200.
Funny thing you mentioned, a Drake TR4C. I've got one of them sitting right here that was given to me about a month and a half ago.
I've got one in front of me that was given to me when I first got my tech license about 6 or 7 years ago.
Well, you want your money back?
No. That radio, I try to fire it up at least once a month, you know, to keep the cobwebs in good shape, and it still worked great.
Yeah, this one I got, I'm going to get the hardback kit and rebuild the power supply section. Other than that, this radio is in perfect mint condition. I've never seen one this perfect.
Roger. Yeah, beautiful radio, I think, anyway. I mean, you know, it has a tendency to drift a little bit, but then so does the operator, so it all works out. JR, what was you saying there?
I said, I knew Drake made CB radios, but I never knew they made ham equipment.
Oh yeah, some of the best ham radios ever were, you know. Now, you know, this Drake TR4C was, let's see, the vintage, this one was 1975. So it's, how many years old now? 45 48 years old.
So it's definitely not digital.
No, but by the same token, the book specs it at 300 watts.
I doubled with you. Sorry about that, Jim.
That's all right. I said the book, the manual for the TF4C says it's rated at 300 watts.
Yeah, back to what he was saying about the not being digital. You can add a freak counter to it, and I've got a perfect freak counter to go with this. It actually has vacuum tubes for the numbers.
That's a Nixie reader?
Yeah, you remember the old Nixie tubes that they used to use before they come out with LEDs?
Yeah, Roger, Roger. Yeah, it does, to bring it up to snuff, that would help a great deal, because the tuning is broad and can float around, but with a freak counter, you know exactly what you're doing. And if the VFO is calibrated to the to the receiver, then what you do is what you get. So it all works out.
Yeah, I'm like you, Jim. I needed a Drake about like I need a hole in the head. I'm sitting here looking at 5 HF radios.
Well, you gotta admit, having all that old stuff working, that's the key, working. Having all that old stuff sitting in front of you's gotta look impressive. You gotta feel like NASA.
I tell you, I am inclined to be a vertical stacker. And one of the first orders of stacking is the heavy stuff on the bottom. So you know where the Drake TR4C is, and in this one stack I have the TR4C power supply, a Cobra 148 GTL, a Max Track VHF, above that a Max Track UHF, and above that a let's see, Yaesu 333, I guess, or something like that, the new digital.
Yaesu 333, what is that?
It's probably not what it is, but it is the mobile digital. Hang on a second. I still can't read what it is. Anyway. You guys doubled.
200.
Another double.
Hey, this is like a poker game.
Give.
About like basketball, we done got double over here.
Go ahead, JR.
I'm afraid to.
KM4UNY Mobile.
Go ahead, mobile.
Just checking in on the ride into work. Haven't been in long enough to establish the point of reference for conversation yet.
Oh, it'll take you at least a couple of months to figure that out.
Been here since the beginning. I'm not sure I got it figured out. 3200, Jim. Yaesu 3200.
Yes, sir, that's what it is.
Yeah, I know exactly what radio you got. Those are nice.
Well, I get the job done. You know, the Max Tracks were my entry level into amateur radio in the VHF plane. I think there was 2 Max Tracks programmed for $50, so hard to beat that.
Yeah, as far as getting a grasp on the situation there, Dustin, I'm a cup and a half of coffee in this morning. I'm still not there yet myself. KK4FIH.
Well, does anyone have any idea as to what the traffic is looking like, seeing as how I'm about to start the real commute?
As far as I can tell, the only thing I can see is the alley back behind the house here. Nothing going on back there. That's all I can see on my security camera.
Well, fellas, I got a doctor's appointment, and I need to at least shave before I go in there. So I'm going to bid you all adieu. I'll catch you all later, somewhere down the line. Jim, good to hear you in there. I haven't heard you for a while. Kind of wondered where you been. Heard you the other day you were in your mobile just for a fleeting moment. So anyway, everybody have a good day, a safe day, and I'll catch y'all later. W3JRB, and I'm clear. This is my final. Bye-bye.
Roger, Roger, JR3's that away. Don't give the doctor a hard time, man. And I hope it goes your way at the visitation. That doesn't sound right. Have a good day, and I hope everything goes in your favor at the doctor's office. KC9VKV.
Safe travels over there, JR, and we'll talk to you later. KM4UNY.
Yeah, later on there, JR. Hope everything goes well at the doctor's office. Keep the shiny side up and the rubber side down. 7-3. KK4FIH.
I think we got to jump out there and get another cup of coffee. So Bill would say 3's over that way. Roger, Roger.
Oh, Roger that. We'll holler at you later there, Jim. It's good talking at you, man. Ain't heard you in a bit.
Roger, been trying to get up underneath the weather situation there. Had a little touch of whatever is going around, but on the mend now. So 3's, catch you later. In KC9VKV, be clear.
Yeah, glad you're feeling better, man.
See you later. KM4UNY.
3's that away, you and catch you later. KC9VKV, clear.